shape, analog is of the functional activities. Depending upon that, still we are doing the research to find out a new drug. So, this new drug concept discovery is also helpful like that. So, we are seeing a plant which is having a shape similar to that of intestinal folds. This is a drug of choice of our diarrhea dysentery. This is what we are seeing is another drug which is having such a type of connection similar to that of our lymphatic tissues and all this. So, this is one of the important drug in any inflammatory stages of our body in our Indian health system, even in Ayurveda or in Siddha like systems also. Like that, a color similarity. So, this rubia cordifolia, the root is very much similar to that of our arteries and the vein. So, that will be used for these purposes. So, like that, we can see a utilizations of all comprehensively in every part of the plants, that like structures and all these things. It is not only in Ayurveda or in the Vedas or in the Vriksha Ayurveda like books, it is all mentioned even in the Siddha systems and even in our ethno-medical practices. If you go to the any forests or the villages where you ask about how the plants or how the sacred groves they are maintaining, all telling about a minute ecosystem that is existing outside, that the similar things will be there. Their belief in collecting the plants also very wonderful. They will not go and take a plant like that. So, if they want to collect a plant, previous day they will go and do some pujas, and they will sprinkle this water and tie a small thread like that and ask the permissions. Then the next day early morning before the sunrise they will go and collect it, so that they know that they are taking a permission and the plant is prepared to receive or give the donor to that who is needed that. So, the sustainable utility of the plant and resources also very important nowadays, and that also a very important part, that we have to look into the nature in such a way that whatever it is necessary, that only we have to take it, and other things we have to protect it and nourish it like that. So, in Ayurveda or in our Indian holy systems, if you look into the Asian system as it is also, the entities of the life is not a separate one. It is a unique one that connected with all the cycles of life, consciousness and all the senses. So, we all are interconnected and we are all look for the health for that purposes, and nowadays we are speaking about the forest bath, forest walk and so much of other interactions. And so, these are very necessary to get a very important connections of Indriya, Indriyartha, Manas and Atma Samyoga. If this will be a good thing, we want to connect with the nature. So, everything has to be started from the nature, and then that nature will give you what it is necessary for the life. It is not at all for one human beings like ours, it all comprehensively looking from the small creature to all these things that will be beneficial to us. So, with that I am concluding that, and the Acharya, Charaka has telling that whatever you are seeing in the universe is the same thing what it is existing inside. So, looking inward to observe and perceive all these things make you a sense of good well-being. Thank you all for the patient hearing. Thanks all lot, and it's very much thankful to IIT Mandi for conducting such things, and inviting sir is also invited, and madam is also invited to give an opportunity to share this knowledge in front of you. Thank you, Mananda.
Thank you, Dr. Jain, for this fascinating talk. We have time for a couple of questions, very quick questions and to the point.
Namaste. Thank you very much for the nice presentation. It's a devil's advocate question. When you say this Chetana of this plant is what is deciding either the number of petals or when it should fruit, I would argue say the genetic engineering has shown that if we alter certain genes, we are able to control that. So then how is it that the Chetana argument is tenable in that context?
So, usually when we are doing some cultivation process like aquaponics and these, so what we are observed is after 1 or 2 generations it is losing its properties or its shapes also. So, like that, once we are changing genetically to this, maybe after 2 or 3 generations it will change that properties, or it may lose its productions also. So, especially the seedlings will be less, the color and shining will be less. So, these types of things are happening. So, some extent it may produce some problems afterwards, because everything is decided by some configurations that are very much essential, that is reliable on a Prakriti. So, that is created from a long back of a lot of memories, and these imprint things will be there. So, once we will entering it and changing it, it may connect it to some other things and may lead to some other problems. That may be the possibilities is there. So, we can see that whatever the things that is happened in the Western world regarding the revolution of the cultivations. So, now they are changing also. So, the cultivation practices of producing lot of big things is now changing. So, why it is so? Because it is producing big sizes only, not the qualities or the essence of life, what it is, the life form, what it is perceiving in that will not be delivering in the proper way. So, I think it is an interference of the human beings in such an extreme level, and it is changing. And another thing is that some of the plants are becoming extinct or the brim of the extinct. So, we want a certain techniques. There also, if you continuously grow these plants in a particular chambers or like that, it will also losing the things. But once we start to reproduce it, and then we are relocating this the natural habitat, and then we will encourage these plants to grow, then there will be a nice recurrent things will be there. So, such type of concept has to be adopted, so that both these things will be mingled in a good way, that we can produce more things.
Sir, here, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you mentioned that moon and stars affect the activities of plants.
Yeah.
But in some cases, some certain kinds of plants like mushroom or others, they are grown very isolated from all this. So then how these interactions occur or are affected?
Very good question, and it is very important also, because there are so many life forms out there. So, these life forms are not at all similar. So, there are different types of originating the plants will be there. So, some of the plants which are very short lived, and it is occurring in the darkness, that it is not good for human beings. So, there are certain other plants that, like what we are seeing, the Ashwatha, it is evolved in Shapte form or lotus. These are evolved through such a level, but certain other plants are there which is having a lot of tubers, and it is under the ground, which will produce such type of qualities. So, that is regarding the sattva and these mind, tamas and all these things. So, one which is growing in the dark areas or in the dark things and very short life and increase these tamas. So, there will be, so that is why these plants are not at all used in the common practices, and it may produce harmlessness also, because some of them are, as you told now, the mushrooms will be psychotic also. It is not at all good. That is why in Ayurveda like science, these are not at all advisable to take continuously, that will alter your mind and your consciousness also. We will in an instability consciousness. Then you will ask why it is occurring, because nature needs such type of things, because the only with one good qualities the nature will not exist. That is why another Siddhanta is called as Samanya Vishasha Siddhanta. So, similarity is there will be a dissimilarity is also there. How a balancing of a similarity with the dissimilarities will be existing in the universe, then only the life is forming, especially why the life is having such a diversity in our earth, because of these types of things. So, that is why these types of interconnection is necessary, but especially certain stars like Agastya, Ashwini and the moon has having a peculiar influence in the plants. So, why Soma is considered to be such a great plant? Because it is growing according to the phase of the sun. So, when the full moon is there, it was having an utmost growth with 15 leaves or more leaves like that. Then again it will shut down the light. So, a plant which is having such a lunaric phase, as similar to that a lunaric phase of a mind in our body, will create a lot of things. So, such type of plants are grouped in the Soma. Why it is named as Soma also? Because it is influencing like that. So, that is why higher plants also there, lower plants also there, and some Asuri plants also there. So, if you go to that, there will be an Asuri, Gandharva, like that plant classification is there in Rajanigandu. So, depending upon, that is all depending upon the human eyes, but below that there will be another plane is also there. So, I think I conveyed.
Hello, sir.
That is why the intake of lot of mushrooms is not good for our body and mind. And the same thing, nowadays we can see that all the doctors are advising to take the sprouted grains. So, the sprouted grains, that is why just Dr. Gobi and my friend is discussing that also. The sprouted grains also within a very short period it is coming out in a dark. So these sprouted grains is not at all good for our body, because the Tejas is activating in such a form. When you consume these continuously, it will activate your heat in our body. Then what will happen? Blood will. That's why it's susceptible for more varicose vein like things, or more allergic urticaria like things. So not only depending upon the proteins, all this, its conversion is important, and how it is eliminating. These types of mushrooms, these sprouted grains will not eliminate easily from our body. It will take a long time storages. So that's why when you consuming it, it should be very careful in that aspects.
No, I think we will have to close the session. We'll have to move on to the next one. Thank you, Dr. Ajay,
Yeah,
for this,
thanks.
fascinating talk. And so we